What did you think of Jacare's performance?
It's hard to really take anything from that. I can contest that he definitely has a nice counter right hook, but it was quick, and Dirk Brunson, he rushed in with his chin up, so he's got a nice right hook. His last two guys down with it, and he clipped me with it pretty good one time, so nice.
The first thing that was going through your head, I'm sure, is like, well, that's my next opponent.
I thought that definitely it would be a logical opponent. I think he's the best guy out there.
It seems like you had been, Anderson Silva, I'd love to fight him. He's a great fighter. And now it seems like they're calling you out.
That's what it sounded like, right? His camp that that looks like they asked for me or whatever. They said that none of the guys were qualifying or something. I don't know exactly how they felt about it. I'm not sure if he's underestimating me, calling me out. I had a bad performance last time. It feels good to him, realizing I'm here, and I'll be coming sooner or later.
Why do you say that you had a bad performance last fight?
I really didn't fight how I should have fought. I loaded up a lot, and kind of made me slower. And it was a hard fight to fight. Just frustrated, loading up, and trying to go for the kill. I just didn't respect the striking enough, and I rushed in, and whereas I should have just sat back and used my technique. I really didn't use the technique, my technique at all. I'm capable of fighting a lot cleaner. Sometimes, things get in your head. How I was performing in the gym, it was, if I performed like that in that fight, a very different outcome.
Okay, afterwards, it seemed like you were, everywhere. You were throwing out pitches, and you were doing all sorts of things. This Kennedy versus Rockhold fight got a lot of attention. Would you agree?
I think it's decent. What did we get? Close to like 500,000 viewers?
Yeah.
And, it was good. It wasn't quite Ronda Rousey, but, we did all right.
I don't think anybody's going to match the Ronda Rousey hype train. I think in a while it'll probably even out.
It's hard to compete. Sex appeal is different, and she has it for a woman, I guess. And, this is a male-dominated sport, so, if there's a decent-looking girl, then people are going to, I think, follow that, I guess. They get a lot of attention. It's crazy. Trying to go on the websites, it's still just covered in female, Ronda Rousey stuff, yeah.
So tell me about throwing the first pitches out and stuff.
The first pitch was awesome. It was definitely I was a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. Getting up on the mound, I had a lot of people pressuring me, telling me, don't throw it in the dirt, don't tough it, don't blow this, don't blow that. I consider myself an athlete. I've seen some bad first pitches from some MMA athletes, and I didn't want to be another one of those guys. And I had fully committed myself, a week before when I first heard that I was coming with the heat. No matter what happened, I was gonna throw, and I wasn't gonna just Nancy the thing in there and just flop it. So got up there and threw the ball. I remember one of the guys, people who worked there, like, don't get on the mound. You'll throw it in the dirt too far, and then it'll angle you down. I'm like, screw it. I'm going on the mound. I'm throwing the ball. I don't care what these people say. Went up there, leg kicked it, threw it pretty much as hard as I could, and ended up throwing a pretty perfect strike. The guy didn't even move his glove, so it was a damn good feeling. I threw my hands up. I had to contain myself. I was like Chuck Rabbit. It was hilarious. Like shadow boxing off.
It's one of those feelings, I guess, you'll never match.
Even better feeling to throw a good strike. That's what I was most proud of.
Do you think with Mir coming over to fight Cormier, is that something positive for you guys? Man, any day they could send Rich Franklin over, or they could send Vanderlei or one of those guys over.
I wish they would. It doesn't sound like it. I think this is a special occasion. Sounds like, DC is going over with the one fight left on his contract, and Mir's coming and sign a one-fight deal in and out. And, there'll be no more heavyweights after this fight. So I tried to, get some help off it. I had a little stretch, but, I realized where it's at. To send the guy over here, it's a big commitment for them to leave the UFC right now. And then potentially if I fought one and they were to somehow beat me, then they'd be stuck here in Strikeforce. And I'm not sure if they're willing to do that. You got to be willing to change your whole career. And so I wish they would. I wish that option's out there. I hope it is. I don't really see it at this point. I don't know. I think it'd be cool for me to go over there and fight one of their contenders and just legitimize where we're at in Strikeforce and then bounce back. Maybe they wouldn't let me fight the champion because then I couldn't really bounce back, but but maybe going over there and beating up it's a solid contender and just legitimizing what we're doing over here. I mean, it's we need to get some more credit for where we're at, what we're doing here in Strikeforce, and people try to undermine us, and I think I'd like to open their eyes.
Last question, Luke. Do you think that was just lip service, Torres, Silva's camp? Do you think they honestly want that fight?
I think it's honest. I think it's an honest opinion. I think they like to fight. I don't know. They want it. I've defended my title a couple times now. I beat Jacare, and I think they all know how tough Jacare is over there. So I think it was a legitimate call out. I'd love to go out there. I don't know if they're trying to I don't know if they are interested in me. Like I said, I don't think I had a good performance. I think I left some openings. I think he might, think that's a good matchup for him. I'm not sure exactly how he's looking at these fights, but I think Chris Weidman's out there too. I mean, that kid's real tough, and he is a great style matchup for Anderson. So he had a great performance. Realistically, I think he's probably next in line. I don't see myself being able to make the crossover just quite yet.